Welcome to Fargo Talks Fargo, an unofficial podcast on the FX television series. Fargo Talks Fargo is hosted by me, Bill, and my buddy Sharpie.
Check, check, check.
This season of Fargo Talks Fargo is sponsored by Fargo Brewing and their Wood Chipper IPA. Wood Chipper IPA will wrap you in its loveliness with a warm body and chippity goodness. Learn more about the Wood Chipper at fargobrewing.com. Also, today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Visit audibletrial.com/Fargo Talks Fargo and get yourself a free audiobook when you sign up for a 30-day trial. And we think books are awesome when you listen. Go do that. Hey, Sharpie.
Did you say chippity goodness?
Yeah, I did.
You are a loser.
Yes, I am. Okay, this Hotdish, this is going to be an exercise in restraint. I really think it's going to be.
Yes, I think you're right.
So, episode 10.
The final episode.
Final episode of this season. Thank God there's going to be a third. Palindrome, right? Palindrome, is that the title?
Thank you, Noah. And the FX family. Here's the deal. After the last episode, I thought last week was going to be a... After last week, I thought this week was going to be sort of a nice, like, more calm wrap-up.
Oh, bitch, you crazy.
I even said it in the last episode. I thought that, this is good because most everybody's dead, so now we can focus on really coming to an end for these final characters and really ending their character development and in a proper way. And in this episode, we really came off with more action than I was expecting, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it was a nice it was wonderful on the palate.
It was. We came hot off that action from the last episode, but we still got to some of that nice rounded off character development, which was very fun. But
some tension
coming right off the battle with the Blomquists was super fun. We saw Peggy's complete detachment from reality once again.
Yeah.
We saw the downfall of... and we do.
I don't know where you're fucking going, bro. You're going to wrap this up in 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, no, we get into it so fast. But if you're just tuning in, or not if you're just tuning in, if you're new to the podcast, I don't know why
nobody's going to be.
I don't know any of this shit. Here, just let me preface this. This is the Hot Dish. The Hot Dish is our quick recap of tonight's episode. See, we always get too far ahead of ourselves because we're fucking amateurs at this.
No, we're just excited show watchers.
So many things to talk about and so many things to touch on. What made me immediately sad? So we saw some crazy action with the Blomquist trying to get away. We see Ed Blomquist get shot. And in that moment, his wardrobe, and it kind of was this way a little bit prior.
Yeah, yes.
But it became more noticeable that his jacket was
orangey
becoming
brown.
Orange. It started out super brown, and this is all because of like the lighting and the color grades. But his jacket became super orange, and Bill, we texted about this immediately. Like, oh my God, his jacket has now become orange. It's the same jacket, but the fact that the lighting has made it now super orange, it was like, oh, Ed is unfortunately not going to make it. The lovable Ed Blomquist, the butcher of Kansas City.
No, the butcher of Laverne.
Or the butcher of Laverne, my bad.
Straight, yeah, hired by those Kansas City mooks.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, just trying to keep you on track here.
Thank you for that.
Don't want you lying to our listening audience. Well, okay, so feel free to just gloss over the wonderful opening narration where we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Dead, Gerhardt's, Rye, Otto, Dodd, Simone, Floyd, Bear, and just for good measure, UFO.
And the first time we've had that kind of, that same opening narrated. I mean, we've had narrations... We had, like, the last episode had a narration in the opening, but this was the first time it was, like, the verbatim.
Ooh. No, go ahead. Go. I just had a thought, and I just verbalized it.
The first time this is, like, a verbatim narration of the Fargo text.
Yes.
That has been previous.
Yes.
Previously in all episodes, and that was done by Lou, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was Lou. That was Patrick Wilson. Also, because I don't want to go deep catalog, but I don't know if I'll bring this up again tomorrow night, so I'm going to bring it up now. Really love the stark contrast of the dead Gerhardts and Simone. All of them with like holes, blood spilled, not looking great. Simone, who I still think, I read some places where people didn't think her character was that great, but whatever. Rachel, what was her name? Rachel Kelly, or I don't know. She did a incredible job. Did you notice how angelically dead she was? Like just staring up into space, looking like a. Because I feel like she was really somewhat innocent. We'll look at that tomorrow night, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
maybe
technically not.
You put a thumb in a dude's butt, and you're not completely innocent. Sorry,
nobody's innocent once
theme.
They put a thumb up Kansas City's butt.
Yeah.
I mean, she was innocent in the sense that she was young and she was in over her head and inexperienced.
Oh, absolutely, and I still stand
man.
by. I still love the comment we got a while back about her being a complete opposite in everything. Like all Mike Milligan's heady references, just slammed up against all of Simone's like pop references, which you could consider to be low class or not low class, but just of a completely different variety.
Yes.
Here's what I love about the episode as a whole, and I think I probably said something very similar last year, is that I love the fact that some people get really pissed off when you don't tie up every loose end or answer every question. And I remember, I think if you go back and listen to our episode 10 of last year, I think I said something very similar about life isn't like that. So why should fictional life be, you can't just put a tidy bow on it and be like, well, that was perfect. I do think this episode was perfect in all the questions that went unanswered. They're like, yeah, so you can put the UFO in your report? Nope. That was it. That was the end of that. There was no, holy shit, there was UFO. There was just like, you going to put that in the report? Nope. Just move on to the next thing. Hey, you want to go fishing?
But at the same time, there were some gimmies.
Yes.
A couple of those gimmies were, we got to see Ricky G's demise. That was fun.
I got to tweet about that before it happened. I felt really good getting that one off to you.
We got to get the answer to Hank's weird alien language thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a little bit of a surprise to me. I wasn't expecting to get that answered, but I thought that was nice to wrap up because that was kind of a weird one. I'm happy with the UFO thing turning out exactly the way it was. I'm happy with Betsy not actually dying.
In front of us, yeah.
In front of us, yep.
I couldn't have taken it.
I was actually surprised by Hank not dying. I was totally fully expecting Ted Danson's Hank Larson to die literally during any episode. I didn't think he was going to last that long, to be honest. I didn't think he was going to make it the whole season. I thought he was going to be a couple episodes and out. And
yeah,
that is pretty fun to me. Despite the fact that it proved me wrong almost every single day.
It's almost like his character it's just built for that. He's just made it through too many things to die in this kind of ridiculous in his home state or something. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the only thing I wished I could have had one more little appearance of is Carl. I just wanted a little bit more, just one more scene with Carl.
You wanted it, but the reality is it ended exactly when you said it was going to end. When Carl was done with the season, you called it. You said, we will never see Carl again in this season.
No, I knew we wouldn't. It doesn't mean I can't want it. Right?
Doesn't mean you can't want it, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Just like Baywatch.
So also, thanks again so much to Maggie and Jeff. We got that episode up. If you're in for a sit down, like 2 hours of chat about music and stuff that isn't completely related to Fargo, if you're into that kind of stuff, you should totally go back and listen to our special episode that we had Maggie on, and then somehow she managed to rope Jeff into our Skype call from last year. And so big shout back out to Maggie I heard that opening and I was like, it's fucking War Pigs, Black Sabbath. boom. I was down for that. And
I wonder if 75% of the music budget went towards that.
Well, did you? She tweeted something back at me about I got it done. I can, kind of like she could die happy.
Yep.
What did she say about that? I couldn't even remember. There was some tweets flying, and I usually don't tweet as much, but towards the end of the season, I decided to start tweeting from our account and yours, and not yours, but you know what I mean. But great song choice. I don't know. It felt good.
Yeah, we tweeted a lot during this last episode. Well, not a lot, but a little bit.
Last few episodes, yeah.
Yeah, and I enjoy it. It does get really distracting. It's a lot of things to juggle between your notes and the show and the tweets and the Facebook.
I want to give as much as I can. Just want to do it. It's all for you guys.
So, as we said last year, it's a tad bit bittersweet. I mean, we still have the full rundown to go through,
and we're going to. We're not going to.
It goes so fast.
Yes. I felt like I was like, what? It's over? Like, I thought the episode... We got a little spoiled this season with the long ones. I think... wow. I honestly, I didn't see the whole Peggy's complete unraveling, probably some sort of post-traumatic stress disorder happening with the smoke. I didn't see that coming at all. That she thought it was Hanzee smoking them out, and it just the cry, and it made a ton. Like when I realized it, I was like, it makes a ton of sense.
That was really interesting.
That she has no like the wall between reality and the fiction she's creating for herself through film and magazines it's paper thin, and it's like wet.
Yeah,
and it's become permeable based on the situations she's been in.
And that's what stood out to me the most in this episode is that whole weird sort of confusion with reality. And while I was watching it, and I knew that she was referring to that movie she was watching in the cabin. And I knew,
I think you texted me that like right away too.
Yeah. Well, what bothered me about that scene initially was that they were showing scenes from that movie, like
the
superimposed.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh man, it would have been way cooler if they didn't force that upon the audience and make it like such an obvious reference. And I thought it would have been way cooler if they just did it without those superimposed scenes and made us I'm trying to like figure out how to word this.
You're trying to tell Adam Arkin to fucking suck it.
I'm trying to say like it would have been a lot cooler if that reference was a little bit more subtle,
subdued.
But it ended up working out because that wasn't what was happening in reality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When it's happening, you were with me. I was with you. I was like, this is weird. It's not even a split screen. It's not even this. And then the door opens and it's Ben and Lou, and you're like, oh.
I was slightly upset that they were making the tie back too obvious. That's the reality. I was a little bit upset that they were making that tie back too obvious, but then the outcome was that wasn't what was going on.
Well, I think even the scenes, the skewed, like the dysmorphic, right? Is that a good word for it? Aisles and Hanzee coming into the store. Looking back, I'm like, oh, that shit was all in her head. That was her. We were traveling into the netherworld of her brain of what she thinks is outside that store.
Sure.
When we already know that Lou's taken his shot via No Country for Old Men, because that was totally the nighttime scene from No Country for Old Men with Anton. I never say the name right. Whatever. Chig. Anton. The car all the way down to the brown cars and all that stuff. You know, the only thing missing was that like shoot 'em up, knock out your locks, kill a cow thing. But yeah, it was all in her head, all of it. Too bad for Jesse Plemons. Still, I just the cat. I think there was so much standout acting this season. I think there was a lot of. I had already said that I think the best episode for Kirsten Dunst was earlier. I don't know. I think there's a couple, like a scene, just that scene in the car.
The scene in the car.
With Lou and Patrick Wilson as Lou alone was just awesome, and which is the throwback to both the movie and last season of Fargo.
Mm-hmm.
You got a cop in the front seat, somebody in the back, except this time she's not a clear-cut criminal, and there's the big victim conversation, which, by the way, though, still, like, hammer you in the face reality. People are dead, Peggy.
The fact that scene in the squad car bookends the movie, season 1 and season 2 is pretty fun.
Yeah. And the little bit of money, to me, though, the little bit of money part.
All for a little bit of money?
Yeah, it's all, and for what? For a little bit of money? A little bit of me thinks that it was all, I don't know what, there's no direct connection that I can perfectly see at this moment. But I mean, this all started for them, and all this got mixed up because two people in this absurd way, speaking of absurdity, Lester last season, Peggy this year, get in the middle of something they shouldn't be in, and they're too dumb, but they don't know how to get out. And when I say dumb, I don't mean actually dumb. I just mean they just can't see their way out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And she's completely crowded out by her thoughts of California and that she's a victim, but at the same time, she's totally right in the era. I'm a victim too. You wouldn't understand. You're a man. It's a lie. She's a gal that she lives in Little Town, Minnesota. Working at a beauty parlor, and she wants to be something more. And I mean, those are real things that are happening today, and even more back then to women. Granted, she's reading the right cue card, and she's just not in the right play at the moment. She doesn't know that.
Well, I feel for her, but her detachment from reality. I mean, her husband is dead.
Oh, and it's like she's forgotten by the time.
She's forgotten by the time she's hit the squad car, and Lou knows it. That's why Lou shakes his head right at the beginning of the conversation when she starts talking about, maybe she could go to jail in California, and he's just like, "You son of a bitch!" Like,
yeah,
you realize your husband is dead. But I love the fact that Ed, in his final moments, essentially got to divorce Peg. Because he said, we're not right for each other. It wasn't meant to be. I love the fact that he got that off. I love the fact that he essentially was able to come to his own reality and divorce her before he passed on.
Oh, we're going too deep.
Yeah, we are going too deep.
Here's what I say we do. I'm gonna tell me if I'm right or wrong here, and throw anything else in this. So here's the stuff we're gonna touch on tomorrow night. We're going to touch on all sorts of little things. We're going to probably by then figure out who covered California Dream, and I'm going to bring up the stuff on the wall. There was a UFO on another calendar in the future of Betsy's Dream. Hamish the Broker by Adam Arkin. They end up slamming Mike Milligan into a middle management position. Crazy enough, using a shitbag typewriter.
Essentially his own jail cell, and bookending his story, where he began with a typewriter and he's ending with a typewriter.
Yep. And the fact too that she has a dream about where everything, circling all the way back, it's Costco and everything's amazing, and so we're really coming to the things where we see this whole corporatization of America and the crumbling of mom and pop shops. Kansas City has beat out. I mean, we should have known it from the get-go that Fargo was not going to win. Maybe I did say that eventually in the beginning. So anyway, we got the old days. Gail from HR is going to stop by and get Mike's paperwork. You're super excited because Ricky G, God, that smiling fucker, right? He's always got a grin on his face.
Always.
So yeah, the gunfight interrupted by spacecraft subtext.
So much more to talk about. So much more to dig into.
I want to know what's the Great Brain book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it means anything, but we got to see it put back on the shelf. Maybe because Noah likes dorks like us to look that shit up.
Mm-hmm.
And I still say wonderful, tiny, small standout role by
Noreen.
Forgive me, Noreen.
Yes,
Noreen.
Fuck yeah.
Noreen is coming of age from it's all absurd, it's ridiculous, and she gets some fucking dose of heavy duty knowledge from Betsy. And I bet you for someone like that, it's gonna hit home because she's a emancipated teen who is now like the live-in babysitter for these people. So.
Mm-hmm.
So let's wrap it there. But I want to touch on two quick things.
Okay.
I'm gonna go we've been getting so much email, so I apologize if we don't always write back. If anyone doesn't write back, it's me, because I forward almost everything to Sharpie, but I've got ownership of our account. But Stuart emailed us that, which is pretty awesome. You know, he said he doesn't want to be all spoilery, but he has some inside sources that Hanzee survives, which we found out to be true, but I thought it was just too awesome to not mention. That he starts in a spin-off series where he gets that haircut, goes into hiding in Wisconsin, and moves into the garage apartment of a middle-class white family. I've attached in a publicity photo from an unnamed series, and this is a wonderfully, in my opinion, wonderfully photoshopped picture of Hanzee as the Fonzie.
The Fonzie.
It's so good. The Fonzie. It is so good. Oh,
it is
Fonzie.
so awesome.
Oh, Fonzie. And Zach, what a wonderful standout job by him on this show as well. Also, just want to give...
There's some great articles out there, and
yes.
We'll link to those in the next episode. But
okay,
interesting note that he was really, really good friends with the guy who played the Native American in the original Fargo movie.
Oh, was he?
A character by the name of Shep Proudfoot. Do you remember him? The guy who beat up the dudes in the... Yeah. So
yeah.
They were like really good friends in Los Angeles together.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Also, just want to give a shout out to Regina and Dominic, who sent us a very nice email. And sometimes you get email and we get a lot of really great insight from a bunch of you all season long, and sometimes you just get an email that makes you feel good. And to the both of them, that Sharpie, I know Sharpie read that one before we recorded. We thought that was really cool. Mm-hmm. We don't know what show it is you want us to record a podcast about, but
maybe we need a new show.
Well, I don't know. Last year you were ready for the vacation after this, because we both have a lot of side projects going on that don't go out publicly a lot, but it's we put in as much work as we can, and not that drinking and talking sounds like a lot of effort, but we really do appreciate that. We appreciate you guys, everybody listening this season, and we're really excited to do a season 3. I'm a little worried that I can't wait that long, and we've been joking about a new podcast we're going to make. We'll see what happens.
We've been joking about a couple new podcasts.
Yeah.
So
we say that, but
thanks for listening to the Hot Dish. If you have some theories or some things that you caught in this episode, email us quick, because we'll record on Wednesday.
In person. Sharpie's going to be here again.
I will be in Fargo on Wednesday. We'll record the final episode together.
Jeez.
So if you have some insight, if you have some theories, if you have anything you want us to mention on the show, email us quick between now and Wednesday. And
yes.
Maybe we'll be able to talk about it.
And we haven't picked everything yet, so we have one more episode. So if you can, give us your favorite quote this season and send it to us via email at podcast@fargotalksfargo.com, or we're on Twitter at FargoTalksFargo, or on Facebook.com/FargoTalksFargo. And make sure you use the hashtag Fargo Survival Kit and put your favorite quote from this season in there. Mm-hmm. And Sharpie and I are going to get together when he gets here Wednesday, and we're going to pick whoever we did one. If there's somebody who did the same quote, and that's the quote we think was the most killer, we're just going to go with whoever sent it in first. But we'll get that.
Yes.
Get that going on. And, oh, by the way, there's more than one prize. We just didn't tell everyone that. I actually didn't tell Sharpie that yet either.
Oh.
So there's a couple. We're gonna give away the survival kit, and then there's a few things we're gonna throw in for a few of you guys. So
cool.
Throw it in there, and as per the usual, really sorry, we're keeping that to US only. It's a thing. And so yeah, I'd say until Wednesday, Sharpie, safe travels, and well, okay then.
Geez.